Hello everybody and welcome back to another Starcraft II video by Konungr. So before we actually get into our video today, I'd like to do a quick update. As quite a few of you know, I do live in Pensacola, Florida, and the past 2 nights it's been storming pretty hard. Well, last night it actually flooded in most of Pensacola. For those that are familiar with the area, Palafox is under about 3 feet of water. 9 Mile Ninth, Scenic had a big collapse, like the road collapsed on Scenic Highway. Where I live, my apartment's somewhat on high ground, so my apartment's fine, but the parking lot actually forms this nice little river. It's actually pretty cool. I walked outside about an hour ago just to kind of check on, see how things were going because the rain has stopped. And because of the surrounding area that's flooded, it's just creating this river that starts, because I live at the back of the lot, so it starts at the back of the lot and gradually gets bigger. By the time you actually hit the road that you have to take to get anywhere else, to get out of the complex, it's under about 3 feet of water. Like, I walked out and I walked into the road and the water was over my knees. So yeah, I'm not going anywhere. Luckily, I have StarCraft, I have my Vapor, I have orange juice, and some buffalo wings from Wingstop. So I'm set, and I also have my movies. So we're just playing a few games today. The only thing that's really happened as far as my apartment goes is the power went out briefly twice. But I did play about 5 games this morning so far, and it was, I think I went 3 and 2 so far this morning. Got a couple of interesting games. The first 2 were actually against the same person on ladder. He beat me the first time, and then doing the same exact build, just changing one little thing, I beat him the second time. And then the first video that we're actually going to watch is a ZvZ, because I know I don't get to post a lot of these. We'll post another Zerg versus Protoss later on. This one is against Ambition, who is another gold level Zerg. And let me just, okay, so we want Konungr's view, and let's get production open and speed this up just a little bit. So we're going to be going for our normal build with our roach regression, and we've also changed up a little bit where we have our cameras hotkeys. We used to do, because of the way I have my Orb Weaver set up, we used to do my first, second, third, and fourth base, and then I have 2 more camera hotkeys somewhere lower on it, and I'd use those for their main and natural. Well, I've changed it up to where I'm using one of them for their main and the other one is for my 5th base, because on most of these games I go for 5 bases. That way I don't really have to worry too much about trying to move drones over and start up a 5th base, get that extra queen out and everything while I'm doing my main assault, because my main assault usually occurs whenever I'm doing whenever I'm attacking, because that's about the time I have my 200 and working on 3-3 or what have you with my BroodRoachHydra army. So he does bring in these lings here, and just as my queen's coming out, and I didn't have any safety lings, but that's alright. He does manage to kill off a few of our things, but we get those roaches out and we clean up those lings. We also go ahead and start 2 spines, and we quickly go ahead and start getting our drones back up. So we do lose quite a bit of mining time, but that's alright. And we're just going to push in and we're going to counter-attack this. We're going to try to take out his queens, take out these spines, and we're going to see as much damage as we can do, try to counter that damage. And we're going to look, once we're done with this attack, we're going to look and see just how far we are actually behind. So while we're doing this, we're steadily droning up. We're going to try to get back up to our thing. Hold on a second. I want to see something. Okay, so he has ling speed. We're both working on a few roaches. I'm getting out just a few more roaches just in case, because I did see a roach come out and I wasn't sure if it was heading for my base, so I got out a few more of those. He's also working on some queens. So let's go ahead and play this. Let's pull this up. Alright, so as this finishes up, okay, so that attack is finally done. Now he came in with his lings first and killed off 8 of my workers. I retaliated and I managed to kill off 29 of his units and 10 of his workers, and he got down 16 of my units. So all in all, I'm definitely ahead. Let's see if we can find the losses. So I managed to deal almost double the damage back that he did to me due to my use of roaches versus lings. So we're going to go ahead and get back in here. We go ahead and move our spines down to protect our natural, and we're just going to go ahead and start maxing up. We managed to get our thing up. He did manage to snipe off one of that queen that was sitting on the front gate, but that's alright. We are up to our full 2 bases saturation, and now we are working. We're working on lair, and we are also just getting out some ling speed, because we do have some lings. We had heavy minerals versus our gas, so we got out some lings to help with that. So we go ahead and get that up. We start working on our third. We get that queen over there and just use our creep to connect the bases. We start working on our roach speed, and we also start working on some hydralisks now that we have that hydra den ready. So we also go ahead and start working on our 1-1. Now our opponent is ahead of us in upgrades, but I do believe we are ahead of him in our economy. Now he did get up his third a little bit faster than us, but we are droning ours. Here in just a moment we're going to be able to max out a little bit faster. And we're just steadily working on this. We go ahead and start our 2-2. We're also working on Hydra speed, and we're also working on our Spire and our infestation pit so we can get hive, because we know we're going to need to upgrade. And we do notice that we're starting to mine out our main base, so we go ahead and start our 4th so that we can transition drones. Go ahead and move those down, and we start hive. And 2-2 is about finished. So we go ahead and move our forces in there, and just as we do that, he swings by, and we manage to, because we had our forces in that pit, he stops to attack them. So we retreat a little bit and keep building up forces, and luckily, because of the way he moved in, he fell into right there, that little gap between, he fell right here. And just as my units popped, so I had units coming from my 3rd and 4th, as well as units coming from my main and my natural. So I got a nice surround on him right there and was able to push him back. And we're going to go ahead and do that and get back to Cam. So as he was coming up to take out our 4th, and we're steadily pushing him back, and we did get out those mutalisks. He does come in and he does take out our 3rd. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to let him take that, because while he was sitting there taking it, we go ahead and restart that 3rd, and we start attacking him. Now, because we popped out with those mutalisks, he decided to go all Hydra, which our combination of Roach and Muta helps counterbalance that, because we are on the same upgrades. And we are working on 3-3. 3-3 is just about to finish, and I think he also has 3-3 just about finished. Nope, he's just on 2-3. So we are now ahead of him in upgrades, as well as having our flying upgrades. He does have a few more because he's upgrading for everything, such as burrow and ventricle sacs. Why has he got ventricle sacs? He wasn't even using it. Tunneling claws, which with the burrow does help if he's using it. Unfortunately, I always keep an overseer with my army, so it's not really doing him any good. And he also, that's why he doesn't have 3-3, because he wasted one of them on his melee attacks, and he's not using lings. So, don't know why he's doing that. Pathogenic glands, sure, why not? Groove spines, yep. Okay, so, anyways, go ahead and get back into the game. So we're just pushing these forces down, and our third base is already remaxed, and he goes ahead and quits the game. Now, I do believe when he first attacked me, he probably did have a higher army than me. He was definitely ahead of me in upgrades, whether or not they were active at that point. Okay, so let's go ahead and go back to this point and see exactly what happens. So he maxes out. Let's go ahead and go to everyone's view. He's got his nice little maxed out unit there. Okay, so actually we're both maxed out at the same point. I have 17 Hydralisks to his 22. I have 37 Roaches to his 32. So those balance out. 4 Lings to his 2 Infestors. Let's see. And where is... okay. So mainly though, the determining factor of this fight, because we both have... actually, I start out this fight with 1-1. 2-2 finishes as this fight ends. So he has the upper hand in this fight, not only because he has the Infestors, which he's going to use his fungal growth on, but also because he has the upgrade advantage. We're still doing considerable damage because he's being forced to go down into this fight, which I guess that could go either way. If I was trying to attack up the ramp, he'd definitely have the advantage. Not only that, so he moves in, and just as he moves in, all of my units come out. So I'm able to remax a little bit faster than him. He's got 15 and 9, where I just crank out 21 and 3 with another 9 working. So I managed to push him back, hold that back, take out those 2 Infestors, and we continue on. So he had the upper hand. He had the better placement at first, and it just kind of all went south. He did manage to take out this, but he didn't take out any of the drones, so I didn't really have to remax any of my drones. I think I had to 2 and then 3 more. So I think he took out maybe 5 drones as well, or 3 drones, as well as what I had to use to rebuild the hatchery and that, but lost all of his forces in the process because he was focused on taking that out, which really didn't hurt me too much. The drones were still mining, though it was a little bit of a lower mining time, or a longer mining time, but even still. I don't know why I just turned my mic off for a second there, but anyways, fairly good game. Zerg versus Zerg is right now, of course, still my weakest link, and we're working on that. It's pretty nice when I am able to come back from one of those, especially when it started off with that early aggression from those Lings. I played a game right after it, which he did manage to get me on that one, but because he did the same thing. He went a little bit hard into the Ling rush with my Roaches, and then because my comp was more spread out, I guess, and he was playing a little bit greedier than I was, he did manage to overwhelm me there. But anyways, good game, and I will see you in the next one.